folks. Welcome. Sorry, it really hit the folks. Welcome to So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is it's Thursday. Yeah, I think it's Thursday. We're doing a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City finale, a season 6 finale, and what a finale it was. The Sisters of Salt. The Sisters of Salt. I haven't seen a play that gripping since Angels in America. My God, what a powerful performance. Listen, I thought my improv groups used to be intense. That was full eyes wide shut goodness. And we'll go over all of that. I feel like Salt Lake City has trapped itself in that they have to do like a big production now ever since the screenshot, proof, receipts, all that shit. Ever since we had that, now we got to do a big finale. I think next year it's going to be on ice or perhaps a musical. There's only a couple of places they can go from here. We have a literal Greek chorus. Overall though, it was so. I mean, listen, I hate to rain on anybody's parade. Listen, Salt Lake so, like I said, is better than any other franchise's best episode to me. But there were still so many unanswered questions. I'm hoping that the reunion put some clarification or a period on the end of that sentence. But I don't know. And it does make you. I've said recently is like you really got to appreciate this show because it's not always going to be at this level forever. But I also want to point out every season when I'm like, I don't think they can. I think they're going to run out of juice. I think they're going to run especially after Monica Garcia left. I was like, it's going to fall apart, and it didn't. It got better. So I'm not going to say that I am worried about next season because they have proven now a couple of times in a row that they know what they're doing. So I'm going to trust the producers. And that's really, make no mistake, that's who this is about, the producers. Because these women, even though they're magical, yes, they are stars to some degree. They do work well together, kind of, but you're seeing that really falter a lot of the times. It's the producers that are recognizing, putting them in these situations. I mean, listen, I was worried when we started off this season when we did that Blair Witch shit in the camping van. That's where we started, and we're ending with a Greek chorus. But what a season it was. I'm so confused about Meredith, but I will say Heather and Whitney now have gone so hard that I'm not necessarily Team Meredith, but it is like whatever you guys were trying to do didn't work. And we'll talk about that as we go through it. And I will say Lisa Barlow, I mean, we've seen Lisa Barlow be a bad friend to Meredith, but really here this season, she has been an overall great friend to Meredith. And Lisa Barlow, whether you like her or not, is hysterical. She is hysterical. You might be laughing at her, you might be laughing with her, but she is funny as hell. I'm sorry. She's just funny. I don't want Lisa Barlow to go anywhere. And by the way, the conversations that we usually have at the end of the season, we don't have with Salt Lake. Because I'm not sitting here at the end of the season going, well, who should be let go? Who should we bring on? I don't want any of that conversation. If the producers think they can make it work, great. The thing I do worry about, though, is if Meredith, when you disengage that strongly, you make it very difficult. And I do understand the concept of bullying somebody or teaming up on somebody, but I think that's born out of frustration of somebody not being willing to share. And when cameras go down, they act like a completely different person. And if cameras go up and all of a sudden she's like, I don't know, I didn't have that conversation with you, Bronwyn. I have no clue what you're talking about. That's insane. That's not going to make for good television either. And I do realize Bronwyn plays a role in this as well. And it's not perfect little angel. I mean, once again, isn't it hysterical that even less than a week after that 3-part Mary Cosby docuseries came out, I'm still like, well, Mary Cosby might be the most sane of this entire group? And whatever I say today, whatever I've just said, you might have disagreed with passionately. That's great. That makes us a fan. That makes us a Bravo fan, where we can disagree peacefully with each other, and it's okay. I've heard so many differing opinions of, I love Heather. Oh, I hate Heather. Oh, I love Meredith. Oh, I hate Meredith. You can have those thoughts. We can all have those thoughts. These are just my thoughts. But overall, I wasn't left with that, like, that feeling of like, fuck yes, yes, oh, which by the way, that's hysterical. I'm a grown man just shouting at the TV, fuck yes, yes, bro. But we've had that with, I mean, I had that feeling after these Below Deck episodes. I had those feelings at multiple points this season. This was just not one of them for me. But if you kind of strip away the sum of its parts, you're like, oh, it is still pretty magnificent. To bring a playwright in, come on, I'm a theater geek. If I could go do theater school all over again, I would audition with a piece from the Sisters of Salt. I will be doing a monologue from the Sisters of Salt. I will be reenacting a piece from the Sisters of Salt. Oh my God, it almost makes me want to go back, get a graduate degree. I'm going to use this as an audition piece somewhere, somehow. How are you? That was just a fiery start. How are you guys? Are you okay? It is so windy right now in Los Angeles, and it scares me. We're in like a hilly area, and it's like, ooh, I hope the power doesn't go out, and I hope I didn't just jinx myself saying that. But I hope you're okay wherever you're listening to this. We've had a strong week so far, you guys. We started 2026 strong. We had the Vanderpump Rules guys yesterday. We had a great, one of my favorite interviews that I'm really proud of, talking about the Delphi murders, which is, that's not our normal thing here, but I would really appreciate it if you gave a listen to that episode. And then Monday, of course, with Sophie. With the Delphi murders and with the Vanderpump Rules guys, remember, I always add like 25 to 30 minutes of pop culture stories, because even if like those interviews aren't your thing, I want to make sure you have something. And I know you don't. I know you probably don't need it, but I always feel like I want everybody to have something. Hopefully, you enjoy the whole show, but if not, there is something for everybody. But we got a lot now today, you guys. Our jobs, it's tough. It's tough being a TV viewer right now, because tonight, 3 episodes of The Traitors, 1 episode of The Pit that premieres on HBO Max. In fact, we got word today that HBO just renewed The Pit for a season 3, and season 2 hasn't even premiered yet. We also have 2 episodes. That's right, count them, 2 of The Valley Persian Style. I really, really dig this. I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I talked to Gigi and Talon from from The Valley Persian Style today, but I want everybody to watch it. If you can't watch it tonight, watch it on Peacock the next day. Also, a new episode of Beverly Hills. I'm like, on that, but hopefully it gets better. I hear once they start traveling, it gets pretty good, so hopefully it gets better. I'm sure I'm missing like 5 other things that we should be watching, but we got to get going, folks. We got a long show to do, and we've got some news stories involving Salt Lake to talk about. Now, Todd and Bronwyn are separated, right? But it might even be more than that. Todd, Bravo and Cocktails, the account, and they have a podcast as well. Bravo and Cocktails posted, I think they got a photo. Somebody sent them a photo of Todd, the Todd father, in Vegas with another woman. And they got this tip set. Oh, no, sorry, not Vegas, in the West Village. In the West Village in New York. And it says at Sons Bar, and Sons Bar in the West Village. It was tonight. It appears that he was on a date with the woman pictured. Oh, it's like Seth Marks. Them catching Seth Marks at a restaurant in New York. But Todd's in like a suit and tie, hair slicked back, and it looks like he's pointing at the woman. I don't know if he realizes his photo is being taken. I don't know. I mean, this could just be a business person, but this person seems to think this is a date. I wonder if just Todd's just like cold calling, just going up to strange women at the bar, like, can I sit? I'm trying to remember how I do my Todd voice. Is this seat taken? I'd like to sit down and fart near you. Hi, I'm Todd. Bronwyn, I gotta relearn how to do Todd. But you guys, Bravo and Cocktails got this. Oh goodness. But they put an emoji over the lady's face. Thank God. That's nice, because we don't want to dox this poor lady. But you can see the bartender's face in the background. We're going to dox the bartender. But no, it says Bronwyn's husband, Todd, they're separated. So it looks like Todd, I'm going to go out there and pull a Mauricio. I'm going to be a Mauricio. I'm going to make out in the West Village and I'm going to fart all over these ladies. If you separate from me, Bronwyn, I'm going to fart all over the West Village. Okay, now I'm getting it back. Whew, thought I lost my Todd impression there for a second. That was scary. Oh, wait, this isn't Salt Lake related, but it's Real Housewives of Orange County related. Congratulations goes out to Real Housewives Orange County star Gina Kirschenheiter. Oh, I'm Gina. What's up? She is engaged to Travis Mullen, and she got a 6-carat diamond, which is almost as big as Travis's balls, you guys. That's right. People magazine got an exclusive. They've been together for 6.5 years, and he proposed during a ski vacation in Big Bear, California. Is Big Bear where Tamara has her second home? I wonder if that was at Tamara's place. But he did it on New Year's Eve. That's so much pressure when you propose on New Year's Eve. Because then it's like every New Year's Eve, it's like that's the thing, right? And it says, amid cooking and celebrated, Mullen put some underwear over his huge, gigantic nutsack and brought Kirschenheiter out onto the back porch to, quote, scope out the right spot for a family picture before this is at night. She probably thought she was going to get annihilated before dropping down on one knee and presenting her with a sparkling 6-carat oval cut diamond ring. I'm in complete shock, Kirschenheiter exclusively tells People. My nervous system was trying to catch up to what just happened in this magical moment, and I was also trying to process the iceberg that was being presented to me as well. Iceberg, right ahead! I, of course, said yes, and melted into what was the sweetest kiss I ever felt. Happily ever after. God, it's so funny that this also happens right around the time that they're still casting for season 20. I think Gina just secured a spot on season 20 with this storyline, but who knows? So this is great, though. I'm happy. I'm happy for these crazy kids. I tease them a lot, but I think this is great when anybody decides to make this commitment. And obviously, their kids know each other. They've built this real estate company. So I think this is actually a really nice news story. And they got a little People magazine photo spread that is very, very cute. And very wise that most of these are done above waist level, because I don't think the photographer has a wide enough lens to get Travis's nutsack and balls in. Which, by the way, if you don't watch Orange County and you're like, why is Ryan keep talking about this guy's balls? Because Gina, if you don't watch Orange County, Gina's whole storyline is always talking about Travis. His balls are huge. Every episode they would talk about Travis's balls. It's not me being a creep. I mean, it's me being a little bit of a creep, but not a full creep. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. I had a whole Mary Cosby interview with the directors of that docuseries that I wanted to go over with you guys, but let's just get right into the recap. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds or get all bummed out when we're trying to make fun of this silly, silly show. So we'll do that. Maybe I'll just throw that on the Patreon later. This is season 6, episode 16. They did 16 episode season, and it's called Sisters of Salt, a Greek tragedy. Sisters of Salt. And the description says, the ladies visit with Angie's cousin and learn more about her culture and family history. That's what you choose out of this episode? You're like, the people that have never seen this show, we might tempt them with the description. The ladies visit with Angie's cousin and learn more about her culture and family. How about we do a Greek play and then try to convince Meredith to come clean about being a pillhead? What are you talking about? Folks, we are here once again to talk about our good friends over at Quince. Now, it's January here in Los Angeles, and it is raining cats and dogs, so you need clothes for those colder winter days. I'm wearing my very sharp, lightweight sports jacket, if you can see this on YouTube right now. But this is your moment where your winter wardrobe, it really has to deliver. And if you're craving a winter reset, start with pieces truly made to last season after season. Quince brings together premium materials, thoughtful design, and enduring quality so you stay warm, look sharp, and feel your best all season long. It has everything you need. Men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather and suede outerwear that actually hold up to daily wear and still look good. The outerwear, especially impressive. Think down jackets, wool coats, Italian leather outerwear that keeps you warm when it's actually cold. Each piece is made from premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. And by cutting out the middleman and traditional markups, Quince delivers the same quality as luxury brands at a fraction of the price. The result is always going to be classic styles that you're going to love that hold up year after year. So refresh your winter wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/sobad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/sobad for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/sobad. Oh, let me write descriptions, Peacock. I'll do it for free. I won't do it for free, but I'll do it for less than what. Also, I'll be on Jeff Lewis this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over on Radio Andy, Sirius Channel 102. Can't wait. Okay, let's get started finally. They open up, you guys. It's like a dark night in Greece, and it's like this heavy, intense music, but like dung, dung, dung. And it's like these creepy shots where it looks like it's a POV shot. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, there's a serial killer on the loose in Greece. You've got to warn these ladies. Or it seems like there's about to be, it's like some kind of ambush. It's like dung, dung, dung. And then they go in on this empty, like this empty pavilion where you see all of these like shitty chairs set up, which I now realize is where they do the Greek chorus. And all of a sudden you hear this voiceover like, behold the daughters. And the music is like, oh, I swear to God, it's the same music from Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. Fidelio, Fidelio. Oh, the Sisters of Salt, the voiceover continues. We get a shot of a burning candle. The worlds of elegance, grace. But what the world did not see was a man named Todd farting all over Lisa's friends. No, but what the world did not see was the war. And the screen goes to black. Was the war. And then all of a sudden they have these ladies in these like flowing white, like chiffon dress things with like pops of color, like different color. And they wear these creepy white masks where I was like, oh shit, the Jabberwockies. All right. I love these guys. And these ladies come out and you see that the Salt Lake City housewives are watching these ladies. And then all of a sudden, you get little clips of what these ladies are saying after seeing the performance. This is how they start the show. And Bronwyn's like, I was horrified by what I saw. And then Mary going, we're adults. What are we doing? I run a cult. What are we doing? And then Heather, by the way, if we want to talk about somebody that might have a drinking problem, may I present to you one Heather Gay who always looks so fucking loose, like a little drinky drink, a little alky. But you see Heather with a glass of wine in her hand going, walk the fuck away. And then Meredith going, I don't care. You have Meredith at a 10. I don't care. And then Lisa saying, what did I just allude to? And then a quick shot of three of the ladies in the Jabberwockies' white masks. And one of the ladies is like, like arms outstretched with arms wide open. Oh, that'd be great if they had, oh my God, if Bravo starts like licensing real music. And all of a sudden, you like you're in the middle of an episode, and then the music starts, and it's like, look at this photograph. It makes me laugh. And then Bronwyn says, it's not for me to say. I don't know. And then Meredith going, look what just happened. We saw shitty theater. And then Mary says, somebody tell the girl we're worried about her. And then all of a sudden a shot of Meredith like crying, like, I'm afraid. And then Lisa going, you guys, am I crazy? Tin roof rusted. And it's all of these shots. Like, this isn't a through scene. It's all like little bits and pieces, obviously. And Mary saying, why are we here if we're not friends? I mean, I think what rang through everybody's head was just like, well, you're you're getting paid for this, right? It's I was assured everybody is collecting a paycheck. That's why you're here. But if we want to, by the way, the commitment to still calling this a sisterhood is awe-inspiring. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, it's the sisterhood of the traveling salt pants. And then Mary goes, if we all feel the same way, it's something wrong. It's something wrong. And then we go back to all the ladies, the performance ladies with the Jabberwockies masks. They're all like falling down, like they got poisoned, like ooh, 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 ooh. And you hear just people crying, like, this is the worst theater I've ever seen in my life. And that's how they started the episode. And now we cut to the Greek beach, and it's during the daytime, and a chyron pops up on the screen that says 12 hours earlier, ellipses, ... And some Greek music, like Greek guitar music. Dong, ding, 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 ding. And we see the beautiful hill with all those beautiful white houses. And we're back at their place where they're slumbering at night. And we see Meredith making herself a little cappuccino. And she has these beautiful little PJs on that have dogs. There's like a dog and a sheep's out. I'm looking at it directly. A lot of, like, it's all dogs, but they're dressed in fancy little outfits. My son Brooks got me this. It's very cool. Brooks, I was able to talk to him for a second, and he gave me these dog pajamas for Mother's Day, so I'm wearing these in honors of Brooks Marks. But Mary's like, good morning, Meredith. How are you, Mary? And Mary's like, I'm good. How'd you sleep? And Mary goes, I slept good. I slept. And then Meredith's like, well, I hope it's a nice day, 'cause it's our last day. And sometimes with Meredith, you're like, does that mean like our last day in Greece, or like is the world going to end today? You know? But Mary just matter-of-factly is like, well, I'm looking forward to it. Whatever it may be. Everybody's talking cryptically. I'm looking forward to it, whatever it may be. And then Angie comes out, and Mary's like, holy shnikes, zoinks. And Angie's like, is it that bad? And Mary's like, it's bad. And we flash back to last episode when Angie totally filed a workman's comp complaint and by the way, the poor guy that she ran into, how is his family? I wonder if he is able to work anymore, because it seems like she just tutti frutti and walk right into him. And we see, obviously her lip has swollen up overnight, and it looks pretty crazy. Scared Mary to all hell, right? Mary shouldn't have to deal with this. Bronwyn's like, we are really seeing Angie's heritage at work here. She is so Greek. She's a full-on tragedy. But Angie does. She has a little bit of a fish lip, right? But Mary says, you're still pretty, Angie. And Bronwyn says, well, I'm excited to see Stella's play. Ha! And Angie's like, yeah, tonight's going to be fun. And I was like, what? What is Stella's play? Angie says, we've had some ups and downs, but I want everyone to leave here reflecting back on this trip of a lifetime. So I found a playwright that's going to write a play about us in the style of ancient Greek theater. How does that work? You're like, I really want to make this special. It's been a really nice special trip. What could I do? We did the photographs with the different colorful dresses. We've done the dinners. We've gotten kicked out a lot of the places. Oh, I know. I'll hire a playwright. And I imagine Greece must just be like a huge, there's like a huge pool of playwrights to choose from. Listen, I want to believe this was Angie. Most of me believes that this was the producers. There's just no way Angie was like, oh, playwright, I got it. Like, when I was a girl, my dad used to hire playwrights all the time to commemorate family events. But we flash back to 3 days earlier where Angie's, explaining this, saying Stella is a famous Greek playwright, and she is here today to get to know each one of you. And we see this lady, red hair, who knows if she really is a playwright, because they don't give the last name, and says she's here to find out a little bit about us, and then she's going to write a play about us. And Brittany's like, no way. Can I put this on my IMDb? Everybody's like, oh my God, amazing. I think the obvious reaction would be like, what? Huh? Wait, could we just like drink by the pool? Wait, what? They're going to do a play? But everybody seems pretty excited. Meredith's like, wow, wow. So the lady's like, who wants to go first to talk to me? The playwrights. I am a distant relative of Arthur Miller and Shakespeare. Anyways, Heather goes out. She's like the first one. Now, these are like all cut up and editing. Like it's like back and forth, back and forth. And the lady's like, hey, Heather, tell me something about yourself so I can, know you better. And Heather's like, I'm really funny. No, Heather says, what do you want to know about me? And she does that. What do you want to know about me? And then hides her face with her hands. This is crazy. And then Lisa, obviously being asked the same question. There's so many words coming to my head. Smart. But the overwhelming one, when you say a word about me, smart. Yeah. Brittany's like kind of fidgeting. She's like, happy. Bronwyn's like, quirky or unique. Meredith goes, pensive. Pensive's a word. Heather, back to her, goes, I'm very well spoken. You can write that down. Whitney goes, free spirit. Helene, free spirit. Mary says, self-aware. And then Brittany is still kind of moving and grooving. She's like, yeah. And she goes, deep. I can see why Jared's like, oh, baby, I want to have... I want to have a meat and cheese board with you when you say things like deep. It's charcuterie time. Deep. We go back to Lisa going, intuitive. I'm a Sagittarius. And she's like, Sagittarius, I've got it, Lisa. I'm a total Sag. Are you? No. Are you a Capricorn? No, I am not. No. And then Lisa keeps going, Leo? No. Aries? No, what are you? No, seriously, what are you? And she goes, Pisces. And Lisa goes, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Then she goes, can you tell me, Lisa, about your friends here? And Lisa goes, dramatic. Bronwyn goes, they have to be nice words, right? Whitney goes, ego. Heather goes, lack of justice. Lack of justice. Whitney goes, pride. And Meredith goes, so I think it depends on... how you kind of define that. I would say if we're talking about an actual, friendship that I've had for a while, and then we just see lashes everybody like guided, martyr, dingbat. And Mary just goes, I like all of them, except one. But that's okay. Yeah. Brittany goes, that's hard. I'm excited to see how this play turns out. Just make me cute. There is one lady with flaxen brown hair, one of the hottest stallions. She owns 2 horses. Her name is the Barlow of Lisa. Angie says it's going to be a great final curtain on their last night in town. So Brittany finally gets up, meets everybody in the kitchen. And they say they're going to sit by the pool a little bit, and then they're going to go meet Angie's cousin, Macalis, for lunch. And Angie notices that Meredith has a coffee. She goes, is that a cappuccino, Meredith? It looks really good. And Meredith goes, do you want me to make you one? And Angie's like, thanks, Meredith. And Bronwyn's like, Meredith's a barista this morning. Wow. It's like how my parents used to treat me when I did something really basic because I don't think they think I could do things. They're like, Ryan tied his shoes. What a genius. Meredith's a barista. They're just so happy Meredith's offering things. And Angie's like, who would have thought Meredith would be getting me my morning coffee? And Meredith's like, yeah. Bronwyn in a talking head says, see Meredith so fine and easy breezy, beautiful this morning, like a Maybelline ad. It really makes me uncomfortable, Bronwyn says, because hours ago, Meredith was texting me to come to her room in a full panic, Bronwyn says. And we have, I think it's like Ring camera footage. It says 1:30 a.m. And you see Bronwyn coming across the kitchen area to go see Meredith after she was in a full panic. And Bronwyn says, she was spinning out of control, that everyone's out to get her. I wonder where she could have gotten that from. Because you all seemed like you were out to get her. I'm not saying that was wrong, but that's where she might have gotten that from. If you had watched the previous episodes that you lived Bronwyn, you might have understood where she was coming from, right? But they cheers the coffee that Meredith is making. We go back to Bronwyn's talking head saying, well, now she's fine. Everything's great. The birds are singing. Coffee is flowing. Meredith's alive. Happy to live. What? What? And we're outside in bad weather, Whitney and Heather. My God, I wish they'd go back to fighting. I believe they're bad juju for each other at this point. So they're outside, and Heather's like, Meredith made this cappuccino, Whitney. They all treat Meredith like she's like infantilize her. Meredith made this cappuccino. Maybe she will be able to go to public school someday. And Heather goes, these women surprised me. She's trying to do one of my stupid accents. These women surprised me, Whitney. Look at what I did. I did a little accent. And she says, we're going deep finally. And Whitney's like, he, Heather. And then we flash back to the night before in the Sprinter van where all of the ladies are talking in their Sprinter van chairs. And Lisa Barlow is telling Heather, I like to go deep in my friendships. I want depth and dimension like I have with my trees. I want depth and dimension. We always sit and talk about you said this and you said this instead of actually talking about who we are. And Heather's like, are you yelling me? I'm saying it to the group. And Heather's imitating Lisa to Whitney going, have you ever asked Meredith if she knows how to make a cappuccino? And when he's like, did Meredith make it or did the machine make it? How dare you, Whitney? Let Meredith have something. That's right. Everybody's complimenting the cappuccino so much. Fuck caviar. I'm opening the Meredith Marks Barista Stand next year. But I will say in Whitney's defense, that is the machine. I have that same machine, and you just put the little espresso K-pot in there and you press it down and it just comes right out. There's like literally nothing out. There's no, so them cheering Meredith on for being able to like push a lever down, but no, seriously, it's very exciting. And we see Meredith doing it again. And then Whitney goes, Heather, last night was just all around frustrating for me. And Heather's like, yeah, Lisa wants us to go deep. She's the most shallow of the group. Far from the shallow now. And Whitney goes, we've been begging you to be vulnerable with us, Lisa. We've been begging to crack open your shallow shell of worldliness and materialistic things and be a friend with us. And Heather goes, yeah, be the hippie we know you are. You guys are getting high on your own supply, bad weather. You got to stop it. What did I call him last week? Oh, yeah, no more bad weather. You guys are the heebie-jeebies. Heather in a talking head says, I feel like I have sliced myself open and bled all over these guys for years. So like this whole no one's being real and honest and raw, turn that like judging eye your direction. Oh, that's right. Heather has given us everything. Oh, Heather, the bravery to tell us about your 30-year-old dirty mattress that you threw away this season. Oh, the honesty. You bled all over. Oh, the honesty. But when he's like, yeah, I'm like, where did that come from? Huh? And then we have Bronwyn knocking on Mary Cosby's door, which always, I would imagine if you knock on Mary Cosby's door, you're always kind of like, is this going to be worth it? Like, you just don't know where it's going to go, right? But Bronwyn's like, hi, can I come in? And Mary's just sitting on top of a fully made bed. And Bronwyn's like, your room's so clean and nice. And Mary says, well, I don't sleep in the covers because I don't know who's been in these covers. So does that mean Mary just sleeps either on the floor or just on the top of the bed with no kind of covering at all? But Bronwyn seems confused for a second, and Mary clocks out and goes, anyway, sit down. How'd you sleep? And Bronwyn's like, not that good. It was me, you, and Meredith last night sitting out here talking. And we flash back to 1:15 a.m. All three of them are out there. Now, 1:30 was when Meredith allegedly texted Bronwyn and Bronwyn running. But Bronwyn tells Mary, everybody kind of like went to their rooms. But after we went to bed last night, I didn't go to bed. And Mary's like, what do you mean? And Bronwyn's like, I was brushing my teeth. But it's like, why do you need to let Mary know you're brushing your teeth? I'm brushing my teeth and I get these texts from Meredith. Are you still up? Can I come upstairs? What are you wearing? You up? No, just can are you still up? Can I come upstairs? That would be great if Meredith's like, yeah, what's your cute little tootsie doing up there? Are you wearing one of those sexy under things that Todd got you? Come on up. But Bronwyn's like, she wanted to talk to me. So I go down there and she was very clear that she feels nervous. Okay, that everybody's been talking about her since the plane. She doesn't like what's been said. Things have been lies, and she specifically said to me, what did you guys talk about at lunch yesterday? And Mary goes, zoinks! Oh! But I'm so confused. If Mary, Bronwyn, and Meredith were talking at 1:15 a.m., none of that shit came up when Mary was around, but then Mary goes to bed and at 1:30 you ask Bronwyn all this shit? I needed filling in of what you guys were talking about at 1:15 a.m. But Mary goes, 2:30 in the morning? You want to know what we talked about? And Bronwyn shakes her head, yes. And we flash back to that lunch where it was Bronwyn, Whitney, and Mary talking about that something is going on with Meredith. That they know because of their own experiences with family members that they believe Meredith has a problem. But Mary goes, that's not right. And Bronwyn's like, Mary, that feels weird. And Mary goes, that alone shows weird behavior. Now, the fact that you guys are on a reality show in the first place shows weird behavior. So Mary asked the question I asked. Why did she ask you? Why did she ask you that when I was out there? Why didn't she ask you out when I was out there? And Bron was like, yeah, you were at lunch with me. Why couldn't she say it to both of us, right? And Mary's like, well, she thought you was going to tell her like you did. And Bron was like, yes, I didn't tell. I just kind of danced her. I did the old Bronwyn dance, which the Bronwyn dance is usually telling her everything. Bronwyn says, Meredith and I have had an increasing problem, she says in a talking head, where I think showing up as a friend for Meredith is telling her things to be helpful to her. I warned her that there was a discussion after the plane ride about how much she'd had to drink. It would be great if Meredith called Bronwyn up to be like, what really did happen in the movie Crazy Rich Asians, Bronwyn? Have you seen it? People have been asking me about it. But now we're flashing to scenes from throughout the season, like the one at Mary's lunch, where Meredith goes, I know what you're saying behind my back, Whitney. And when he's like, I've not said anything behind your back, which Whitney did, because she did say shit to Bronwyn. So Bronwyn says, and I actually mentioned to her that Brittany was throwing up in our room on the yacht trip. And we flash back to Meredith in the bathtub talking to Lisa Barlow, where Meredith is like, I was told she was non-stop drinking all day long at night to the point of vomiting. And Bronwyn said, I later heard that spun as somebody thinks you're an alcoholic because you were throwing up on the boat trip and they saw you. And we flash back to the previous night where Brittany at dinner goes, Lisa, I want to know where the whole, alcoholic thing came from. And Mary's like, I heard it and I told Lisa. And Brittany's like, well, you heard it from who? And Mary's like, I don't know. And Brittany's like, could it possibly be my roommate? Who was Bronwyn? And Bronwyn says, and now I'm realizing Meredith is using me and the things I say to get at the other women. Oh, the walls are closing in on Bron. I'm now realizing that Meredith is using me to get to the other ladies. Meredith is Thanos. But Bronwyn says, I don't sanction that. Homie, don't play that, Bronwyn says. And she doesn't like it. Mary says it's not right for her to do that. She's wrong. And I have a direct connection with God. So yeah. In a talking head, Mary says, Meredith and I, we've been friends for years. And I've seen her change. She doesn't want to hear anything. She feels like she's being attacked. She feels paranoid. Which means the show is working. That's when you know a reality show is working. When one character is like, I feel completely paranoid. You're like, well, that's been a good season. But Mary says, when you don't talk and you bottle things up and shut down like Meredith's doing, it comes across as she's breaking down. And it's very alarming. Mary tells Bronwyn, well, just let her know you feel uncomfortable and you feel a little bit compromised. Bronwyn's like, are you wearing a wire, Meredith, please? But Mary says, just be honest. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. And then Bronwyn says, pray for me, and does the sign of the cross. Mary's like, I'm going to charge you for that. So we get out of that scene, and now we're watching Whitney and Heather walk in and the house. And Whitney's like, oh, the Isles of Greece. And we see it really is just beautiful, beautiful land. We see Lisa brushing her hair. We see Brittany has like 2 stuffed animals with her suitcase open. And I'm wondering if these stuffed animals can talk as well. Like one is like, Brittany, you're special. Or Brittany, I love your butthole. And we see Meredith dressed in black. It's like full daytime. And Meredith comes out like a vampire, black sunglasses, and she steps out and she just looks over the water. There are so many, I said this, there are so many moments of Meredith staring at bodies of water. But we see Meredith comes out like, let's look at the water today, shall we? And then we see like across from Meredith is Bronwyn laid out on one of the little walls like a chameleon. And she notices Meredith comes out, but Meredith like is sitting on this ledge just with her legs crossed. Yes, it's the water. Let's see the water. It's Meredith Marks. Return to water. And then she sees Bronwyn, who's like 10 feet down, and goes, good morning. And Bronwyn's like, are you working on something? And Meredith's like, no, come on up. Yeah, office hours, sure. I'm just chilling out a little. And Bronwyn says, I want to chat with you, and I want to make sure I'm not reading into something weird. I thought you and I, Meredith, had a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation, and I might be overthinking it, but I felt like you are asking me what was said at lunch. And Meredith goes, very calmly, no, I didn't ask you that. Just wearing her dark sunglasses. No, let me stop you right there. I did not ask you that. Ooh. And there's silence. And Bronwyn just gives her a look like, yo, what? What? And Bronwyn's like, you didn't ask me what was said at lunch yesterday. No, I didn't. You asked me what happened at lunch. And who did you talk about? And Meredith very calmly goes, I did not. This is not true at all. This is true, Meredith. And they're both just shaking their heads. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, I am gooped, gagged, bamboozled, befuddled. She is going to make me look like I'm crazy. That's some tom-fucking-foolery, and I'm not going to deal with it. And she tells Meredith, this fucking bums me out. And Meredith is just sitting stone-faced and goes, I don't agree with you. I'm not going to agree to something that it didn't happen. You did ask me about the lunch. I didn't ask. You said I'm nervous about tonight. I don't know what's coming. And I said, well, I don't either, Bronwyn. In a talking head, Meredith goes, I don't know what Bronwyn is saying. I asked her for information about the lunch because that didn't happen. She was very, very anxious about this play. She hates theater. That's what I gather from this. She hates Broadway. She's just very scared about theater. I just texted her so I could comfort her. I could comfort the poor girl and just saying that if you talked about something that was contentious, there probably what will be there. So I explained how the arts work, right? And so that she could maybe have some peace of mind, having a clue as to what it might be. I was just trying to be nice. That's it. Bronwyn says, Meredith, I've been your friend. I've stood up for you. I'm trying to be tight with you. And Meredith says, rah, 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 rah. And Bronwyn's Meredith goes, what is it you want from me? Because I'm really fucking irritated, Meredith, and I'm really fucking hurt. I was the lone person standing up for you outside the plane. Even Lisa said stuff about you. And Meredith goes, okay, Bronwyn, thank you for standing up for me. I feel like you're working me, Meredith. I feel like you're working me, and I feel like you used me. And I feel like when you want something from me, you think I'm the pokey little puppy. That's right, the pokey little... What in the fuck is a pokey little puppy? Oh, it's me, Todd. You're my pokey little puppy, Bronwyn. I want to treat you like a pokey little puppy and fart all over you. A pokey little puppy who's going to run behind you and tell you shit. And you do use it against me, Meredith, because I tell you things, because I fucking care about you. And I supported you so deeply, and you have fucking used me. And you fucking sold me out. And I am up for Best Actress in a reality television series from this monologue. And I don't know who the fuck you're going to use next. There's no one else, Meredith. No one else to use. And Meredith is just very calm, like, well, I don't know. Well, so you asked me to come to you off camera. Fuck that shit, Meredith. Print it on a shirt right now. That's fuck that shit, Meredith. No, I made it nice with Salt Lake. Fuck that shit, Meredith. Are you lying right now, or do you not remember, or are you gaslighting the shit out of me? Is it like this movie Memento where you can't remember? Because it's one of those options, Meredith. And Meredith very calmly goes, none of the above, Bronwyn. I don't like your accusations. And Bronwyn's like, you know what? I don't like your accusations. I know you said it, and that's good enough for me. Friend to you. Good luck with one of the other bitches. They don't have your fucking back like I did. And I don't either anymore. Fuck it. And she walks off across across the roof where they're sitting. And Bronwyn goes, bullshit ass lies. Pokey little puppy bullshit ass lies. And Meredith just calmly gets up and just goes, I'm not taking accountability for some lies. Rah, rah, rah. And then they're just talking. Rah, 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 rah. So now they're in the Sprinter van on the way to visit Angie's cousin, and they notice Meredith is once again pouting in the back. And somebody's like, Meredith? And Angie's like, is Meredith here? I'm here, yes. And they're like, you're so quiet. I was like, are you missing? No, I'm here, yes. And there's like awkward silence. And Whitney in a talking heads goes, like, come on, what is wrong? Like, I literally don't understand how we go from waking up this morning and she's really happy and making us cappuccinos to sourpuss and so miserable. Miserable. Like, we're here for Angie. She brought us all the way to Greece. Like, let's have fun, you know? And Angie's like, I beg you guys, please, let's all use a little impulse control. My cousin is so excited to meet you all, so let's make it a positive experience. And they step off the Sprinter van, and Angie immediately gets run over. It was just that was like the fourth bad thing that happened to Angie this season. But they're just like, let's not scare the cousin. They go to another... Greece is so beautiful that I'm almost like tired of its beauty. I'm just like, oh, another beautiful location? So Michalis is Angie's cousin. He's waving with like a big glass of Pinot Grigio. And they're walking down the steps, and Angie literally slips on the steps, and they catch her. Now I feel like, is she doing it on purpose? Like, is it just all these pratfalls? And Angie says, my life just keeps flashing before my eyes. I've got to up the life insurance policy at the rate I'm going. Hey, I'm Nicholas. All right. And so it's a little bit of a family reunion, and they hug. He seems very excited. And the cousin, Michalis, lives in Greece. She says, our dads are brothers. And, you know, Heather feels this guy up immediately. But Angie says, when I told him the ladies and I were flying into Santorini, he immediately hopped on a ferry and came to meet us for lunch. And he's like, you're all so beautiful. Oh, welcome here. And Angie goes, Greek men do love American women. And so they're all sitting around this table with this beautiful view and all just kibitzing, right? But Meredith is just a sourpuss. She's just a grumpy Gertie. She's like, I don't care about Miko Least. I'm just fuck all these fucking women. And she just looks like she's barely tolerating this experience. Everybody else is excited, though. They're taking pictures, and Meredith is just stone-faced. And Lisa's like, McCauley's, I want to hear all about your family. And he's like, yes. And Angie's like, yeah, our dad's because you're a great storyteller, McCauley's. You know, our grandfather was born about 1890. You know, that time of war and all those things. They killed his father. Oh, my God. Holy shit. That's way more intense than the Meredith Bronwyn conversation. He died, and his bigger brother, 18 years old. And 1909, grandfather. He left from Crete, and he went to the United States to find a playwright to bring back. No, he goes, but he went from Crete, and then he wound up in downtown Salt Lake. And Lisa just pops up and goes, wait, why Salt Lake? And I guess there were a lot of jobs in the mines, and that's why a lot of the Greeks were there, and they followed each other, right? And then Angie asks if he remembered her mom, which, remember, her mom passed away, and Angie, anyways, she says, when I come here, we go see where our dads grew up, and she has never gone to see where her mom is from, which I'm shocked that was not a part of this trip. But Angie says, I know every detail of his story, but I don't know my mom's story, which I'm like, could that be next season? I'm not even kidding here. But she says, I don't have any connection to her family, which this is a little moment that kind of feeds into who Angie is. Like, they always give you these little context clues, right? But Angie points at McCauley's, or how, and she says, this is my family here. And McCauley's is like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. He's like, when you're going to come, I will take you to Vlatos. Don't worry. Where I guess that's probably where the mom is from, Vlatos. And it talks about wanting to take her daughter to Vlatos. But Angie says, imagine being locked underground with her mom, and her mom would say, you can't talk or they'll hear us and they'll kill us. There's a shot of Whitney going, oh, God, that's crazy. I was trying to get a buzz on. But she says, how terrifying for an 8-year-old. My mom, she lived in fear, and that trauma comes out later. It was a scary time. And he goes, yes, it was a very difficult time. In a talking head, she says she has such little memory of her mom that she cherishes any memory that anyone has to share. I would imagine that, right? It's probably just like little pieces of gold if you get to hear something about someone that means so much in your life that you don't have anymore, right? But Angie says she always leaves Greece not looking at it as a vacation, but more connecting to her roots and a place to collect more bruises. And then Lisa goes, now I know how Greek she is after meeting you. And Lisa goes, we love you. We love you, McCauley's. We love you. And so that was a sweet little scene because we're building up to a Greek tragedy. So now they're back in the Sprinter van. We're back in the Sprinter van, and Angie's like, I knew he would eat you guys up. And in the back, Meredith's sitting next to Lisa and goes, I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know I'm fucking here. And I think she means on that trip, not like, why did God put her here on earth, right? And Meredith goes, it's not a big deal, but like, geez. And Meredith asks Bronwyn, what happened? And it's silence. And Bronwyn says, I'll say it. After I went to bed last night, Meredith texted me and said she wanted to talk, and there was something that was said in the conversation that I felt uncomfortable about. Meredith said to me, it's been a lot for weeks. I felt targeted. Lies have been said about me. What did you guys talk about at lunch? And Meredith says, and this is where we have a sticking point, because Bronwyn thinks I was pumping her for information. And I wouldn't have said something if it was the first time. And Meredith goes, I was not pumping her for information. I wasn't. And Bronwyn says, she started to try, in my opinion, to gaslight the fucking shit out of me. I've all of a sudden become Richard Pryor when I talk. It's the nicest way I can say it. And Meredith goes, I'm so tired of this. This is a load of shit. And Bronwyn, kind of pops up in the seat. You did ask questions last night. And you did want me to tell you about it. And then she said I was lying about that conversation last night. I didn't say that. I didn't ask, Bronwyn. I made a statement about the lunch. And Bronwyn goes, and I said I'm not fucking dealing with Miss Marks Esquire. I'm trying to deal with a friend. I want to be friends with you. I've stood up for you. I've fucked other relationships for you, which is on me. But how much more do I have to bleed out for you? Bronwyn really realizing it's the season finale. I've got to make my mark. But Bronwyn's like, how much do I have to do before you stop fucking me with other people? And I'm exactly fucking right. And you're quiet for once, Meredith. Without any legalese behind it because you know it's true. And Meredith is just like, I'm not going to even say, is that a birdie? Is that the wind? Is that the Greek wind? I don't even know. And then Bronwyn goes, fuck it, Meredith. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it. Ah! They're back at the house. Angie tells all the girls to get ready for a night of theater. And they're getting ready. And Angie says it'll be eye-opening to see how somebody else perceives us. And we see Heather getting ready. And Heather says, I think Bronwyn's stories are like 1 foot in the bullshit bin and 1 foot on the banana peel. Wait, Heather, Heather, you were just saying Meredith has a problem last week and now you're saying Bronwyn's full of shit? But Heather says, but clearly this exchange happened at 2:30 a.m. And it has me thinking that, by the way, they have a shot of Meredith and she's fully in a bathtub. She's like, I've got to immediately calm down with a bath. The place, have we ever thought maybe Meredith is a mermaid and that's why she gets so upset because she needs to get into water immediately? I'm turning back into a mermaid. I must get in water. But Heather says this exchange occurred at 2:30 a.m., which means me think Meredith is a sneaky friend. And I like when Meredith is in a bathtub by herself and she's just staring like a robot, but you also know there's a cameraman in there with her, so it's weird. Whitney goes, heading into the play tonight, knowing everything that I've said to Stella, who's the playwright, and imagining what everyone else has said to Stella. Are we ready to deal with it? Are we ready to deal with theatrical productions? Lisa Barlow in a talking head says, I know who I am. They can all think whatever. They can kick rocks. That's why you gotta love Lisa. Lisa does not Lisa does obviously give a rip, but she leads with blind confidence. So now we're leaving for their last night in Greece, and Angie goes, look at the sunset. It is a beautiful Santorini sunset. They're getting in the Sprinter van and they're driving to, I would say, a theater, but it's not theater. It's just, I don't know. It's just looking like an outside pavilion. But Angie's like, isn't this amazing? It just looks like cement and rock. But I don't know. But they're like, look at this. Wow. And they're like, this is unbelievable. Mary Cosby goes, what in the world? What in the world? And they're just walking down this hill. And you see these gigantic rocks. And Mary says, this looks like a haunted house. And you see an overhead shot going down with the chairs. And when he's like, look at this. And Mary goes, at least these stairs are looking normal. And Meredith goes, wow, this is very cool. So Meredith is happy again. Wow, these steps are very cool. And Brittany says, I'm so curious if they have open auditions because I'm a theater girl. So Angie says, it's our last night. Let's live it up. And there's a spread of what looks like a lot of weird dips and stuff. And Brittany's like, do we serve ourselves? Mary's already shoving food in her mouth. And Brittany goes, I'm a lush, so I'll just go straight for the wine. And Brittany picks up a bottle of wine and looks at it. It's like, oh, this is... Oh. And she goes, oh, it's screw top. Okay. And then Mary Cosby goes, does it feel suspicious? And Angie's like, well, suspicious about what? And Mary's like, about all this. And Heather goes, I'm excited. And then Mary goes, I don't want to be here. I don't like it. I don't like none of this. And Mary says, we're dressed very nice, and this does not seem luxurious. And Angie goes, for someone to write a play about your life, you want to dress up for it. Yeah. And Mary goes, another wasted outfit? I'm about to go in the bathroom and don't come back out. That could also, I'm like that a lot of places too, but it's because I got a chachi, you know? And when he goes, what would be your biggest fear, Mary, to happen tonight? The TLC would do a 4-part docuseries about this trip. Mary says, I don't have no fear. Angie says, mine would be the person playing me as bad hair. If Brittany would play me. Heather says, after talking to Stella and giving her a shady description of all my friends, I'm pretty sure that this play is going to be a Greek tragedy. Thank you so much, everybody. Other day, tip your waiters. But she said, yeah, Greek tragedy. And Heather asks Lisa, what'd you say about me? And Lisa's like, you'll see. Heather says, the playwright didn't strike me as a comedy type. That'd be great if it was like all Don Rickles, like, hey, how you guys doing tonight? Hey, you having a good time in Greece? Let me tell you about these fucking kooky ladies, huh? These sisters of salt, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Meredith seems like loose. She's probably fucked half of New York. Hey-oh! Now, Angie's passing out this thing called mandilia. And they're colorful things that they can wrap around your hair. Kind of like little, what are these, like little head wraps? And Angie's assigned a special color to each of the ladies that's indicating their character. Bromley gets orange, Heather gets blue, Meredith gets blue. I don't know. They don't really say what the colors signify. Lisa gets purple. Yeah, I don't know. They're cute. Yeah, this is all the rage. I would have worn these at BravoCon if this episode had aired already. So we see a shot of the candles. The music is like, oh, and all of a sudden, eyes wide shut time, the ladies with the little flowing robes and the white Jabberwockies masks come out. Oh, and the ladies come out. And the Salt Lake Housewives can see these ladies. And I'm shocked Mary Cosby was like, what in the world? But they're all just, like, Lisa's got, like, the biggest smile on her face. Because, by the way, like, this is like, if theater, you know, usually the theater's dark. This thing is lit up because I would have such a hard time not being a giggle Gertie. I would just be giggling, like, nobody's, like, fully giggling like I thought they would. Because sometimes when it's, like, this serious, you start giggling, right? And then the main lady's at the podium and takes off her Jabberwockies mask and sets it aside. And she goes, behold! The daughters. All of the ladies all of a sudden start making like what we used to do in movement class in college. Like, oh, we're very artistic, moving our hands. Behold the daughters, 8 born of one house. What does that mean? Does that mean they... Wait, holy shit. Are they saying the Real Housewives, these ladies are all from the same father? No, they're all from Salt Lake. Each born beautiful, brilliant, brutal in her own right. I'm already going to close this play. Yeah, close it up. One night only. They called themselves the Sisters of Salt. And the ladies in the masks start moving. The world saw elegance. No, we did not see elegance. We've never seen elegance. What are you talking? The elegance when Heather pissed and puked herself in that Sprinter van? The world saw elegance, grace. What the world did not see was war. It began, as so many of their battles did, with something whispered. And those goofy actors behind her just like all still flowing. Because someone had said something. Yes. Maybe it was all of them. Maybe it was none. And then you see some of the ladies, like the actor ladies whispering in each other's ears and like, oh, but the gossip grows like mold in this. The gossip grows like the dirty stains on Heather's 20-year-old mattress she calls a storyline. Lisa, one of the eldest, and one of the ladies in the mask pops up, and I guess she's Lisa. Lisa, one of the eldest, which Lisa's like, fuck no, I'm not old. She summoned them to a family supper of fast food of the Bell of Taco and the Donalds of Mick. She offers a challenge dressed as peace. I want to go around this table one by one and reveal one honest thing about the sister next to you. No interruptions, no lies, real without masks. Heather, you goofy-looking Heather. The deflector laughs loudly, mocking this plan. Mary rises and turns to address her sister Heather. And by the way, the acting is bad. Like, this doesn't seem like I had a lot of rehearsal. Now that I have my eyes on this like a fourth time, I'm kind of like, we could have done better staging. And I also wonder, do these ladies, are they taking this seriously? I'm like looking at them for laughter, the performing artists, like how seriously are they taking this? Heather, you're a joke wrapped in mascara. And that's finally gets a laugh out of all the house. Meredith goes, you act like nothing touches you, but everything does. You act like your shit does not stink, Heather. And you laugh because crying could make you hurt. You hide behind your humor like it's armor, and you aren't even funny. Laughing out loud enough to drown out the things you refuse to say. And we flash back to Mary talking to the playwright 3 days ago, and Mary says, I think the biggest issue with Heather, she has a hard time communicating real feelings. She likes to just hide and have an exterior. But behind every joke is a shadow. A demon you're too scared to say out loud. There's a shot of Brittany going, woo. And then we flash back to Lisa and echoing, when's the last time you went on a date? When's the last time you went on a date? Lisa talking to Heather in a Sprinter van. And Mary's like, yeah, when's the last guy that you dated that you had a spark? And Heather's like, I can have a spark with anybody. Yeah. Like, so this is Heather not opening up. And we're back at the play. And Mary goes, oh my God. Heather turns to face her sister to the left, Bronwyn. You're not two-faced. You're no-faced. It's so fucking brutal. You're no-faced. And your husband fart on women. You're no-faced, Bronwyn. You don't have a nose to smell your husband farts. No-faced Bronwyn, we call you. Bronwyn no-face. The narrator continues. Heather turns to face Bronwyn. You're not two-faced. You're no-faced. And we cut back to 3 days earlier where people are talking to the playwright and Lisa's like, Bronwyn. She hides. She's one way with certain people and the other place she hides. Tin roof rusted. You want to be trusted, but you treat loyalty like a party favor. Cheap and easy to toss. And Lisa's like, oh, shit. You collect secrets like trinkets, trading them between sisters under the guise of concern, but always leaving damage in her wake. Bronwyn doesn't look really Bronwyn's a little dewy in this scene, too. And we cut to earlier in the season at the Mary lunch where Meredith and Bronwyn are kind of going at it, and Whitney realizes that Bronwyn told Meredith information. It's that's a private conversation. Bronwyn turns to her sister Lisa, and the actress playing Lisa pops out. Lisa, you wear wealth like a shield. You carry yourself like a queen among servants, and there's no way you own 2 fucking horses. We cut to Heather talking to the playwright going, I would describe Lisa as she's like better and cooler and richer than us. Like she acts like that. Speaking to us sisters not as equals, but as women forever beneath your marble pedestal. And all Lisa hears is, oh my God, she knows I have a lot of marble. Great. You guys don't understand. I live a very different life. I'm very important to Jesus. Oh my God, they flash back to the Dismissed episode. Do I have money? Yes. If only you were capable of an apology, able to say, I was wrong. But that would mean being lesser, and humility is the only thing you can never afford. Lisa turns to her sister Angie, but then Angie bumps into Lisa and hurts herself. Angie, daggers lie beneath your tongue. Ooh. We cut to Bronwyn talking to the playwright. When she loves you, and when she hates you, run. Always voice sharp, slicing. We got to earlier in the season when Angie's like, I'll come over there and pull your ears further back than they've been pulled by your fucking facelift. You look like you've been in a wind tunnel. To Lisa Barlow. So foolish in your thirst to be the best that you're left alone with nothing but the echo of the damage you caused. Whitney, by the way, looks just fucking titillated by this whole thing. She's like, hee. Angie turns to her sister Brittany. It would be great if the playwright's like, and then immediately turns around. Who cares, right? Brittany, when you speak, your word sounds like childish noise. Your words sound like childish noise. And there's a shot of Mary going, oh, shit. Oh, shit. The playwright just got Brittany. Lisa talking to the playwright. She's chasing butterflies and ladybugs in her head 24/7. I just caught another ladybug. But worse than all, you cling to the attention of men named Osmond of Jared like it's your lifeline, so consumed by a man's attention that you barely notice your children fading quietly into the background. Damn, brutal! Brutal. And we flash back to Brittany's daughter saying, I want you to want to spend time with me over somebody that you're dating, not dating, who knows? Brittany turns to her sister Mary. Mary, you speak with a blade, sharpened by truth. Okay. You're... And then Brittany telling the playwright 3 days earlier, like, I really, really, really want to love her, but I feel very judged. Your words offer sting despite your conviction. And what is up with you marrying your grandfather of step? Mary telling Meredith, I'm going to keep it real. You're not a good friend. On the beach earlier in the season. Go jump in the ocean. I think you're boring, Meredith. You must learn that even in the righteous must bend, for without forgiveness your conviction becomes a cage. Mary turns to her sister Whitney. Would be great. All of a sudden it's Mary turns to her sister Jen Shaw, and all of a sudden the real Jen Shaw pops up. Miss me? Ha ha ha! Whitney, we feel compelled to dismiss you as shallow, always on your journey of healing. A flirt, a body without a mind. We flash to Lisa talking to the playwright. Whitney, Bhutan. Perhaps you speak wisdom in passing, but no one listens long enough to hear you. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's brutal. If you want to be more than decoration at their table, you must speak up. All Whitney does is try to speak up. Whitney returns to Meredith. Meredith, you hide behind your semantics, twisting language to dodge blame. That's right. Whitney telling the playwright, she plays the victim. Martyr, arguing with you is like shouting into a maze. Is like Todd farting on a woman. Right? And Meredith, like, yelling at one of the ladies at the table. We flash back to You drift between brilliance and confusion, and your behavior is unpredictable. Meredith looks down, and for the first time, the words fail her. Oh, the sisters sat. Everyone wore guilt in their eyes. They raised their glasses, and we see all the actors raising their spacework glasses. We are actors raising our non-existent glasses. Swallowing the truth like poison. And then they mime drinking something, and they actually have a shot of Brittany drinking her actual red wine. Moments later, glasses drop and hands tremble. Because the producers of The Lake of Salt have poisoned all of the ladies. No, all the ladies just drop dead. And for the first time, the house is quiet. Too quiet. Stripped of rivalries, stripped of noise. Stripped of the only voices that ever truly knew them. Oh, yeah. We're supposed to believe that these ladies are the only true people that have ever known each other. Oh, give me a break. And as the candlelight flickered over their stricken faces, the truth was revealed. You're no one without your sisters. And scene. And everybody's just sitting there awkwardly. All right. There's some light applause. Like, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah. Mary actually is Mary's like, this is good. Wow. I love theater. I had no, and then the ladies are all like bowing. That's really good. This could run on Broadway. This is something, and then they're like, ladies, we have to get you out of here. There's a 9 o'clock. And Brittany goes, that was quite the tragedy. And these ladies look shook a little bit. Whitney looks like she's just seen Death of a Salesman. Everybody just looks rattled. But that's what good art does to you, folks. I always recommend live theater. Heather looks like, like that person that's drunk, that's trying to act like they're not drunk. And Heather's like, they nailed it. They nailed it. I think we're so good at projecting this image. But if we can't be vulnerable and real with each other, we're wasting our friendships. And when he's like, it's true. And Angie's like, but did you feel like your sisters can help make you who you are? That's what I took from your sisters helped make you who you were. And without them, you felt like nothing. Meredith looks like she's packing up and like, well, it's time to go get out of the theater. And Meredith goes, you can't have anything in life without the people around you who you love. There's nothing else. That's what life is. And Brittany goes, does that mean you love us, Meredith? And Meredith goes, did I say that? And then Heather goes, maybe we should just give up the game, and be real with each other. And everybody's paused for a second. And Bronwyn's like, I was horrified by what I saw. Huh. And huge pause. I sat there with tears pouring down my face watching that. Not just for myself, for all of us. Because I saw a lot of truth in how they portrayed me. And I know that came from your truths about how you portrayed me. And I also felt like I have a lot of work to do. I have a deep issue of not feeling like people are loyal to me. And a big part of that is probably because I'm not loyal to other people or I don't know how to be. Bronwyn's always so quick to it could be something hugely wrong about me. No, I don't get it and I don't give it. And she's starting to tear up. Bronwyn in a talking head says, I view my past as one long, who's who list of people who have let me down in a loyalty way. And it's why I want it so bad, but also why I don't know what the fuck it looks like. She tells the ladies, it's heartbreaking to watch that about yourself. When I had Gwen, I did feel like my parents would put their shame and embarrassment ahead of how much they cared about me. Even Todd, who I love and choose to be with, and I'm working things out with, if we're being really honest, she says, I can say that Todd has been disloyal to me. She tells the ladies, I'm a big girl. It's not anybody else's fault anymore. I have to figure that out. But I was also really heartbroken by what was said about others of you. Because I think if we're all being really honest, some of those things should have felt really cutting to each of us. And everybody's just stone-faced. I'm telling you, Heather looks shit-faced in this scene. And then, first saw the actress Lisa come out, like it made me feel sad, because she was kind of dumpy. No, because it made me feel sad. And Angie's like, what did? I hide behind my things? And Angie goes, your watch? Your rings? And Lisa's like tearing up. She's like opening up. And Lisa goes, for me, I think it's a sign of accomplishment for me. It's like rewards for me for working really hard, and I can buy things like goods and sundries. I have a lot to prove to myself. But I have to give credit to Lisa. Lisa's actually opening up. I had a lot of pressure growing up to help my little sisters, and she's fully crying now. She goes, so, I put a lot on my plate. Like, even with John, I think it's a lot for him. There's a lot of expectation from me just because of who I am, and I have a lot to prove to myself. Like, I think I'm constantly, probably, disappointed in myself. This is the most honest Lisa's ever been. And Brittany goes, really? I would never think that. Shut up, Brittany. Shut up. And Heather goes, I'm your friend. But you don't ask me to help you because you're always okay. It's because I don't like you, Heather Gay. No, Lisa goes, I need my friends. I need all of you. I need the paycheck Bravo provides. You all, like, we just have, like, this natural craziness where it's, like, even if we're mad at each other, I think there's, like, this underlying, like, deep love. And Angie goes, Lisa, like, I love you, and it's taken me a minute to say, like, I love you and get out of, like, the dark spot with you. And our friendship went away, and I want it back. And Lisa's like, I have high regard for you, Angie, and I like having a friendship with you like that. And Angie's like, this is like a rough year, and I have not been here for you. And I am here for you. And now Angie's like facing off with Lisa, and Lisa's like crying. And Angie's like, if I ever take that mask off and I'm not being who I am, I want you guys to tell me. Maybe not you, Brittany. And by the way, in the deep background, you see these people like walking by. I don't know if it's the actors, but they're not in their robes anymore. They're like, oh, they're still shooting. I got to get home to my parents. We're like high school theater kids. We gotta cut through here real quick. And then Meredith pipes up, it's interesting there are certain parallels, hiding behind belonging, hiding behind words. And she clicks her tongue. I was trained to use words. Some people are trained to be ninjas. I was trained to use words. Sorry, words. Carefully, cautiously. And like Meredith is tearing up now. They hold meaning. They can bring a lot of joy and they can bring a lot of harm. There's a lot of pauses. There's another shot of Heather just looking like she's seeing double. I am very sensitive. Okay. I'm very easily hurt. Okay. And I don't like being told that I'm something when I'm not, or that I did something that I didn't. It hurts me. Okay. And I'm afraid of betrayal. That's really what it boils down to. I've been betrayed many times by a lot of people. And I'm afraid of letting people in. I'm afraid. I'll be totally honest. I'm afraid. And he's like, you're surrounded by a lot of beautiful people. And maybe if you let them in, it's not your fault if it doesn't go well. It's their fault. And Heather goes, like Meredith's a powerhouse. She's not like this docile mouth that has just been like victimized by all of us. She's making power moves. You know? Heather's like trying to be like, no, fuck Meredith. Which surprised even me, you know? More silence from the group. Heather goes, like, the big giant thing is what just happened the whole day that kind of hijacked the whole day with just this thing with you and Bronwyn. You kiki with her at 2 a.m.? And Meredith goes, this is why I don't open up. This is why I don't open up. And Heather goes, this is the third time that you've gotten her for information from her and then flipped it, Meredith. And Meredith goes, it has nothing to do with anybody except Bronwyn. And Heather goes, which was weird. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth and argue it. It did seem like you wanted to know about our lunch. I was hungry. I'm on a diet, and it's fun to hear what other people eat. When I heard the story from both sides, it seemed like you just want it to happen, because it's the one thing you didn't know about. And Meredith goes, I felt berated. I'll stop talking. And Heather goes, she's saying, what do you want to know about the lunch? That's what we're asking. What do you want to know about the lunch? And then Meredith finally turns into Incredible Hulk Meredith. I don't care! And Heather's like, you clearly care. And Meredith goes, I do feel that I'm yelled at and screamed at every time I try to open up, just like right now. I'm a caged animal. It just happened again. Heather goes, it's not true. It's not true at all. I'm fully drunk right now. Look at what just happened, Meredith yells. And Heather just keeps going, that is not true. And Heather goes, if we can't be honest, why are we all here? And Meredith is like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Peace out. Peace, deuces. Meredith goes, I'm going to take a shit, but I'm going to the restroom. And she walks out and she's like crying, stepping out into this like stone portico area. Meredith walks off, and Mary's like, what are we doing? Why are we here if we're not friends? Why are we here if we just yell at each other? We don't get each other. Mary's like, is that how you feel about me? Lisa's like, wait, Mary, what part hurt you? And Mary's like, you said I was hard. I'm hiding behind some stupid face. But I don't hide behind a mask. I don't live my life like that. Lisa, you are self-absorbed. I wonder if they finally were like, Mary, you have to talk. And then it's like, we just go to a whole different topic. I'm like, where are we headed? And Mary's like, what are we doing? We're big grown adults. Big old overgrown women. We should act like it, Mary's yelling. We're mothers. We're wives. We're leaders. We're bosses. We're cult leaders. We can't even tell Meredith when we feel like something's wrong. More silence from the gang. She's spiraling out. You can't tell her that? And the other's like, we also love her and don't want to hurt her. And Mary's like, you tell her that too then. We don't want to hurt her. Somebody tell the girl we're worried about her, Mary says. And Heather goes, tell her we care. Something's wrong. And now Meredith like walks back with purpose. And Meredith goes, I have one question. And it would be great if she's like, who wants to dance? Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out, round and round. Like Meredith comes back and like, hoo, hopa, yeah. I have one question, she says. What's the goal? Yeah. I don't think Meredith knew the question she was going to ask until she like said what? What's the goal? I love the editing and the music. It's like dung, dung, dung. And if you took that music out, it would just be like so chill. And Mary says the goal is that we are all concerned about you and we feel like you're spiraling. And we're all worried and we're all concerned. Okay? And Lisa's like, whoa. And Mary's like, if you want to know what we talked about at lunch, that's what we talked about. Okay? They all think it, and I think it too. And Meredith shakes her head like, huh, interesting. I'm concerned. I hope you're okay. I don't think you're okay. And Mary goes, okay, well, I am okay. And Mary goes, no, you're not. No, you're not, Meredith. No, I am. Thank you. Your behavior's not normal. I am okay. My behavior is fine. And Mary's like, we all think it. I think I'm finished here. I've heard enough. I've heard the whole story. I've seen some really bad theater tonight, so I will relieve you. And she starts walking away. And they're like, Meredith, stay. No, Meredith, no. Talk to the group. What is there to talk about? For you guys to tell me that I'm not okay when I am okay? Come on. I don't know what you're talking about, Mary. And Mary's like, you're committed to being angry. You're committed to being sad. I am not angry. I am sad sometimes. And I am very sensitive. And I take a lot of things to heart. And I wear a lot on my sleeve. And Mary's like, you do. And they're like, no one's saying it's not true. Because there are things, Meredith starts crying. It's up. Meredith's crying. There are things that are important to me in my life. There are my goals. I want to leave this world in a better place than I came into it. So I carry a lot of the weight of the world on my shoulders. And that's why I choose to DJ. It's the only way to leave the world in a better place. Wiki, 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 wiki. DJ Meredith Marks on the ones and twos. I didn't see that comment of Meredith saying she wanting to leave the world better than like she's carrying the weight of the world, literally carrying the weight of the world. Oh, and that's why I'm sad sometimes. But I am fine, and for all you to question me that I am not okay. And Mary goes, you're not. You're not okay. Well, I am. And then Whitney goes, hey, can I get real with you, Meredith? Yeah, good time, Whitney, yeah. And Whitney stands up. And God, Whitney grabs Meredith's face. I don't know what Whitney loves to touch people. Whitney loves to grab your hand, your face, your shoulders. No, listen, I was told I have to touch people because they don't listen to me otherwise. Your behavior, look, stay with me, please. I felt bad that I called you the names I did. And the only reason I said pill popper alcoholic, alcoholism is because when I see people go through emotional shifts like that, my only experience is my dad and my family. But that's from my lived experience of watching behavior, and I'm just telling you what I'm witnessing from you as your friend. Your emotions and your behavior is like this right now. But get your hands on my fucking face! Ron was like, we don't know what's going on in your life, Meredith. You haven't told anyone of us. I wish you would have. I wish that you could. Because I'm better when I can tell somebody what's going on in my life, when I can confide in somebody, when I have support. I have had very hard times in my marriage. And when that's happening, I don't know how to discuss it, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm scared shitless that something is so important to me might not work out. I get defensive. I put a wall up. So I'm not going to say that there's something wrong with your marriage. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with my marriage. And Rowan's like, it's not for me to say. I don't know. My marriage is the strongest it's ever been. So let's stop with my marriage. Meredith, Todd and I were having dinner in New York, and I saw Seth. He's a waiter at the Olive Garden. What's going on? No, they're just like, what? You saw Seth in New York? And I didn't say anything to anybody else because I don't know who Seth was with. And they're like, Zoinks, what? Oh my God. Say what? Our last commercial break. We come back and Lisa immediately is like, you just made it seem like Seth was with somebody else. And Brian was like, I don't know who Seth was with. I don't know. And Brittany still has like just flies gathering in her mouth. She can't shut her mouth. She's like, oh. My experience is when my marriage is talked about, I put a wall up. And I wish you could talk about it, Meredith. And Meredith goes, that's enough. This is enough. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you, Angie. Great night at the theater. And Lisa's like, what did you just allude to with Seth? I'm not alluding to anything, Lisa. And Heather's like, hold on, I'll go get her. And Lisa's like, you made it sound like he was with somebody other than, I did not say that. And Mary's like, he was. And she saw it. Heather goes, Meredith, are you going to for real shut me out? I'm like the lead of this fucking show. I'm Heather fucking Gay. I'm leaving, Heather. I'm leaving. No, you're not. And Bronwyn says, I don't get to say if he was with somebody on a date, Lisa, or if it's a work person. What I'm saying to you is when I feel like my marriage is questioned, it makes me put a wall up, and I'm worrying that her marriage is being questioned and she's putting a wall up. And Lisa goes, this is why she's closed off. This is it, right here. And Bronwyn's like, oh, God. Back to Heather goes, come on, Meredith. I'm a happy woman in a happy marriage. Look at Seth. He's like a Greek god. I'm in Greece. He's a Greek god. I have a wonderful family. Why am I even listening to this? But it does remind you of that monologue, the hot mic moment monologue with Lisa from many seasons ago of like, she's with a fucking fake family that poses. She's fucked half of New York. So Heather walks Meredith back saying she was going to walk away, but I walked her back here. And Meredith is just like ranting, my physical health is fine. My mental health is fine. I can run a mile in 8.5. I can do 30 burpees. I don't drink very much, right? I don't use drugs. And my husband is loyal to me, and I'm loyal to my husband, and we even do butt stuff. I don't know what your problems are, but don't create them for me. Because I have a really good life, okay? Just trust me. And then she, like, acts like she's getting on her phone. Like, who are you calling? And, like, Lisa and Whitney go after her now, and it's talking to Meredith goes, I actually drink less than most of the women. I actually do believe that. I don't do drugs, and I'm really tired of it. And let me start counting their drinks and the multitude of pills in Brittany's pill bottle. Whoa! And the pills that I've seen Heather and Whitney take. Stop with your smear campaign, or I will start telling the truth. And then, so Lisa and Whitney are on Meredith, and Lisa's like, Meredith. And Whitney goes, stop, and like pushes Lisa's hand away. I need you to go away. This is between Meredith and I. How is it between Meredith and you? And Lisa's like, you're not safe for her, Whitney. You're not a healing place. You're not safe. Whitney, please leave her alone. I am safe for her. You should go back. And Winnie keeps trying to touch Meredith. It's like, let me touch you for the energy, please. Let me touch you. And Mary is talking to Bronwyn and goes, you are a good friend to her. You was a good friend to her, and you do have great loyalty. Look how you stand by Todd. Look how you stand by that farter Todd. Great loyalty, huh? Bronwyn says there was a time on this trip where I was really worried about Meredith. Where I felt like something was really hard for her. But I've realized that looking perfect and taking no accountability is more important to her than being friends with any of us. And friendship has to be a two-way street. If Meredith can't tell us what's going on, if she can't say when she's wrong, if she can't lean on us for support, then she should walk the fuck away. She should be a friend of, or not even on the show. Meredith goes, I need to get a car service, and I'm ready to go. How many car services are there where they're at, actually? Just to be, this isn't New York City. Get a rope. And Lisa goes, it's like crazy, Meredith. I'm your friend, and I love you, and I'm sorry that this is so gross. This is so toxic, Lisa, and it's not just me. And Heather goes, you know what? Go. We can hear you. We're toxic. We're assholes. And like Heather just has her glass of wine. And Lisa goes, I didn't say asshole. She said it's toxic behavior. And Heather's like, if you think that, walk the fuck away. And Lisa's like, you don't get to dictate what everybody does. Like the judge and jury. You don't. Exactly. Whoa, I am fully on Lisa's side now. And then Heather goes, walk away if you don't come back and solve it. Those are the two options. I'm Sergeant Heather. And Lisa's like, what does she solve? Sorry you're saying stuff about my marriage. Sorry you think I'm doing this. And Heather's like, it's you too, LB. You're with her, babe. I don't even call you Lisa anymore. You're LB, Lisa Barlow. You're with her, babe. And Lisa's like, yeah, I'm with her. Yeah, I'm with her. I am with her. Because what you guys are doing, and Heather goes, call an Uber or come back. Call a Santorini Uber or call in Lyft or call a Waymo or come back. I've seen 6 of you, Lisa. It's like you two versus the world. By the way, Heather, you just made them look pretty damn good. And then we have the postscript pop up, and it says, Heather has been traveling and enjoying the empty nest. Her new mattress remains pristine. She loved having her daughters home for the holidays and was even happier when they left. And then it shows Heather going, and then Lisa's postscript says, Lisa continues to talk with trees, which convinces her that she's a good listener despite what John says. And then it says, she was sad to learn buffalo mozzarella comes from an actual buffalo, not New York. We didn't need these. We didn't need these postscripts at all. So everybody's gathered around Heather right now, whose hand is on her head while she's like, whatever she's doing with the tears. And like Whitney, like, I'm going to come around you so it's like a picture and people will make memes about how good of friends we are. And Whitney says, Wild Rose Beauty is back in Whitney's possession, but not without causing trouble in her marriage. She still meets with Terrence, her intuitive consultant, who does not see any Cartier purchases in her future. Okay, cool. And then Meredith says, with her Caviar Lounge still in the process of opening, Meredith is spinning her way to DJ stardom. Okay. Her marriage is stronger than ever, and her reservation for Mother's Day is already booked for next year. Okay, cool. Okay. And then we hear Lisa go, this is so cruel. Angie says Angie hasn't completed her Greek citizenship, but she's considering learning how to be a medic for herself. She says her fast food commercial was definitely not an attempt at one-upping Lisa. Bronwyn puts her hand on her head. Bronwyn is officially an American citizen. She is still waiting for her first jury duty summons, but has her outfit ready. Muzzy and Gwen are still living with Bronwyn, and her marriage is closed for discussion for now. And then Mary says, with prayer and tough love, Mary hopes Robert Jr. will find his way. Her church remains her safe space, and her dog remains one of her closest advisors. Did we do everybody? Oh, wait, Brittany, right? Brittany? Does Brittany get one? Wait, did we already do Brittany? Oh, Brittany didn't get one because she's only a friend of. And then we get the reunion, which comes Tuesday. We get a 3-part reunion. The last thing I wanted to bring up is that this Monica Garcia, man, she, part of this is just normal Housewives behavior, but you can tell Monica really wants back on the show. Today, she posted something saying, we ready to talk about how worried you were that people would possibly find your Coke stash in your suitcase at BravoCon? Or are we still playing it like others have the substance abuse problem? It's not about the Coke. It's about the hypocrisy. And I think she's referring to Heather Gay in this. She also did one, I think a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where she was saying that she saw somebody get taken away on the cast trip to get had alcohol poisoning, which also made it seem like that was Heather. So, Monica, it's unfortunate because I like Monica, but she's not a reliable narrator. She's lied so many times that it's hard to trust what she said. I do believe there is a world. I think Heather is a heavier drinker than most of these ladies. So that's why it's interesting. But if you don't have any proof of Meredith, you got to let this storyline go. What I wanted to say too is that even if something's wrong with Meredith, if she doesn't want to talk about it, like they're not going to force her. They might stop using her, and it might come off as just like vindictive of these ladies. It feels like they're like ganging up on her when they know something might be going on. But if Meredith doesn't want to admit it on camera, you don't have anything. You can't keep doing it. It's going to make everybody look like idiots. If Meredith wants to talk about it, then that's another story. But this never goes well. So who knows? That's where we ended. What, it was fun to do the episode, though. I hope we all had a good time today. I hope you had some laughs. I think we're all better people for this, right? I think we all should, together, we should all book a trip to Santorini and then hire a playwright. I think that's what we got out of it, right? Or maybe if I ever do a live show, it's not even the podcast. I just put on this Greek tragedy. That would be good as well. Anyways, folks, have a great Thursday. I'll be on Jeff Lewis this morning. Come back Friday for an all-new episode. God, we got so many episodes. Shout out to my Patreon baddies, patreon.com/so-bad-it's-good. We're putting out an episode tonight with Samaj talking about the Carl Radke book, which was a really fun conversation. So I'll see you over there. Have a great Thursday. Bye.